So, hey guys, can you believe that Konami has banned Gimmick Puppet of Nightmares and Ito? Well, I can't either. Well, I'm sure that those two bans will for sure matter, right? So, anyways, we're going to normal summon Darkfire Soldier number 2. We're going to link this off for Link Spider, and then we're going to summon Dark Clan. Well, let's go with Yamatano Dragon Scroll. And it doesn't even matter. We don't need to make him duck. We can actually do another Link Spider if we want. And boom, we have 2 copies of Link Spider. And we can link these guys off for Verte. And then we can do Verte's effect. So now we can use Verte effect to send Branded Fusion. And we're going to special summon Albion, sending Jaugen and Fallen of Albaz. And yeah, I'm sure that it for sure matters that we just no longer have Ito or Gimmick Puppet of Nightmares. It's not like there's a billion different things we can possibly summon onto our opponent's field with Albion the Sanctifier Dragon. Like, surely there is no monster we can just summon to our opponent's field, right? Yeah. Okay, so let's go end phase here. And in draw phase, funny that this doesn't even have to be done in the main phase. We're going to target, yeah, Jaugen. And we'll give our opponent Yamatano Dragon Scroll, I guess. Why not? And it'll show us which one's being summoned where. So right now it's Jaugen. So to my side of the field, I'll summon Jaugen. To my opponent's side, you can get Yamatano Dragon Scroll. Epic. Now you are locked out of special summoning. But I mean, this deck in particular that my opponent is playing here, it actually does have an out. But okay, you can still destroy Jaugen by battle. But keep in mind that the combo I did uses just nothing, essentially. We're only playing normal monsters in our main deck. That's it. And yeah, more or less this is what you expect to see. Yeah, our opponent in fact cannot do anything now, I guess. Somehow, one way or another. And every single turn. Anyways, Albion can just summon whatever it wants to either side of the field. And yeah, that's just a bit disgusting, ain't it? So there are a billion different things that Albion can summon that would obviously be bad for the game, but also worth mentioning is if I summon like Jaugen and its special summoned, it will destroy itself, you know? I guess that's kind of worth mentioning, but whatever. So, yeah. In short, Jaugen, gross, right? But how many possible different ways could we possibly abuse Verte? Many. We'll start with removing these normal monsters because this is like the weakest main deck we could possibly have. There is no combo being done here. So what if we did this Verte line with a combo? The only issue with this combo, I guess, is that this Branded Fusion, we never want to see this in our hand. And we can't mill this, which is fine, I guess. If we see this one of in our hand, we can no longer resolve our Anaconda, because this has to send specifically from the deck unless we can shuffle this back somehow. Which, I mean, you might be able to. But, yeah, regardless. This is a degenerate combo, but how many different ways can we possibly abuse the Albion? Well, first off, we don't actually have to play Jaugen. It just requires essentially a light spellcaster, but Jaugen is pretty efficient in that this is just a 2-card combo, and you could still use this as a backup plan. But if we go back to specifically the Jaugen line, what we could do is with Memento. I'd show you the combo, but Memento combos take too long, honestly. So there's just essentially a billion different 1-card combos in Memento, right? So what we can do with Memento is usually at the end board, we end on IP Masquerena, so that it's just a link to like Verte, right? So instead we just can make Verte. And we also end on Memental Tekudlika Combined Creation, and we should have Cranium Burst on our field as well. So the only effect that we really care about on the Cranium Burst here is that your opponent must attack the Memento monster you control with the highest attack. So regardless, they must attack a Memento monster. Also, they cannot special summon because of Jowgen, because we're going to make Verte, activate Verte, summon Albion. Albion summons like Jowgen to our side of the field, and then something to our opponent's side of the field. Doesn't super matter what it is. So we can do that, and then we can just chill, you know? Our opponent is now Jowgen. So yeah, that's that. And if we do want to get rid of Jowgen, I guess we could use Jowgen's effect to destroy itself. Which, I mean, yeah, I guess that's an option. But regardless, yeah, this is just going to be a one-card combo. And it's not just this. This is a one-card combo, I believe. And then the Angwitch is a one-card combo. And Mementotlan Tatsuno to Shiko is also a one-card combo, I believe. So these three are all one-card combos. Then Mementotlan Mace, I think, is also a one-card combo, as well as Goblin. They're just not that great because they can be interrupted with like one hand trap button. You know, that's essentially a billion different ways for me to make a Jowgen that you cannot run over by battle. So that's great, I guess. But if we were to run this a different way, we can use Effect Veiler as our target. So I only have one, but I mean, logically, you'd be running at least 2 or 3. So if we run Effect Veiler, though, we can send Effect Veiler to make our copy of Albion. So here is one idea that is pretty gross, and we'll just go through the line, right? These are the interesting ones. There are less interesting things we can do with Albion, I guess, right? But if we go through the P.U.N.K line, there's quite a lot we can do, right? So the idea here is pretty simple. So let's go ahead and grab all the P.U.N.K cards real quick. And boom, boom, this, and this. That as well. Okay. So the only downside to, I guess, Extreme Session is potentially drawing into the Branded Fusion, but I mean, it is what it is. We will simply not draw into it. But okay. Basic idea is basic. So how does P.U.N.K tie into this Albion stuff? Well, there is one card, specifically a Synchro 8, that works really well with Albion. So what we can do is we can actually use Diablantis, the Menacing Mantis. So what we can do with Diablantis is that we can then send Scary Moth. And Scary Moth, of course, is an insect, which we can send off of Diablantis here. As you can see, you could target... Oh wait, wrong effect. You can send insect and or plant monsters from your deck to the grid up to the number of non-tuners used for its Synchro Summon. So we only need to send one. So we can send Scary Moth. If we open Scary Moth, we can just send it with Foxy Tune and then go into Jam Dragon Drive or something. So that's fine. The basic combo line that we'll walk through here is that we'll normal summon Xiamen, Foxy Tune effect, grab Sharkusai effect is going to allow us to grab either the Wagon or Madame Spider, depending on what we have. Usually at this point, if we're one-carding Madame Spider, and then Madame Spider can grab us like either Dangerous Gaboo or Nashiwari Surprise. And then, well, we're going to fusion summon the Rising Carp, and that's going to allow us to summon the Madame Spider and our Deer Note, and then we use these two, the Deer Note and Spider, to make Diablantis. Diablantis will then allow us to send the copy of Scary Moth, and then we also have Deer Note effect in the graveyard to special summon a guy back. So in this case, we'll probably just summon like, I don't know, it doesn't really matter. Sharkusai, sure. And then we can make Verte and then summon the Scary Moth, right? But if we have like an extender, So let's just go with the optimal thing. So if we just can skip going into the Atlantis, perhaps we can just instead go jam Dragon Drive, and the main thing that we really want, honestly, is just to have Sharakusai with an 8 and then the Verte as well. So we just need like essentially one extender because the Albion is also level 8 monster, so this works pretty well. So what we can do is if our opponent normal summons a monster, we can just activate the effect of Sharakusai, and then we can do Sharakusai effect to make Amazing Dragon, and that will be our one special summon. And then Amazing Dragon will be able to bounce our opponent's like card back. Not that our opponent would be able to beat over Scary Moth anyways, but if our opponent does normal summon a guy, we can actually brutalize them pretty hard. So the thing about the Scary Moth here is you gotta see the whole line, right? I guess we'll go through it, right? So we're going to normal summon Xiamen. We're going to grab Octotune, discard a card, summon Sharakusai. Sharakusai plus Xiamen makes the copy of Rising Carp. Rising Carp is going to special summon back. Well, allow us to special summon back the Sharakusai later. So we're going to go Deerna, Spider, and this allows us to get a monster negate. And then after this point, we can make our copy of the Atlantis. The Atlantis sends Scary Moth, and then we bring back like Sharakusai, and then we can Mantis plus the Atlantis for Verte. Verte summons Albion. Albion, well, actually go back to the Verte step. Verte is actually going to send Effect Veiler, as well as sending Fallen of Albaz into the graveyard. So why does this matter? This is pretty vital information here. So because we're sending a Vec Veiler, you have to keep in mind that we're summoning 2 monsters off of Albion. So we're going to actually summon Effect Veiler to our opponent's field, and then we're going to special summon Scary Moth to our own field. And then with this Effect Veiler, we can actually just bounce it back to our hand with Amazing Dragon. Assuming we can make Amazing Dragon. In the 1-card line, this wouldn't be possible, but with one more extender, we'd be able to have Sharakusai. And if we do have Sharakusai on the field during the next turn, yeah, we can bounce back any monster, essentially, in our graveyard to the hand. As wild as that sounds, it's just something you would be able to do. So it doesn't necessarily have to be Effect Veiler, but that's one idea. So instead, it could be, for example, Ash Blossom Joy Spring if we discarded Ash Blossom during the first turn, or just Nibiru even, like just whatever you want to send, you can just add it back to hand. And Effect Veiler, of course, is pretty efficient here because if our opponent normal summons a guy, we just negate it with the Gabu, and then we can bounce back the Effect Veiler afterwards, and then we can bounce again, or not bounce again, negate again, right? So we have negate, bounce, and then we also have Scary Moth floodgating our opponent. So yeah, that doesn't sound fun now, does it? And this is just one idea, right? There's just so much you can do with this. And by so much, I mean so much degenerate crap you can do to your opponent and put your opponent through. So that's one idea, but here is another one that's pretty simple. So, fun fact about Curious, the effect to mill is optional. Yeah. Is it not? Or is this mandatory? Let's see. If a card is sent, send the top 3. Nope, never mind, mandatory. Well, okay. I was thinking of Chaos Ruler then. Chaos Ruler's effect to mill is optional. But anyways, more importantly, Curious. Pretty easy to make, honestly. So all we have to do is make Curious, and then we could send literally anything we want. Same with Beatrice. We can send any monsters we want, like pretty easily. We have Beatrice, Curious, Armageddonite, just a billion different monsters that can do this type of thing. And here's another fun one. We have the Chimera cards, which can send any Dark Fiend, I believe, or something like that. Let's see, nope. Oh, it's not Dark Fiend. It's send any Beast, Fiend, or Illusion monster from your deck to the graveyard. Ah, well, then that allows you to send Barrier Statue of Anguish, which is just going to work, you know? Or not Anguish, Abyss. Okay, so we can send a Barrier Statue of the Abyss here, and then summon it back with Albion. But I mean, they already can summon the Barrier Statue of the Abyss by themselves, you know, so that's kind of pointless to do, but that's just one way. So here is another idea. So if we were to actually go Terra Top, what we can do is we can Terra Top, add Takatonberg, and then we just go Cherubini. And then with the copy of Cherubini, we can use the effect of Cherubini to send actually Fiendish Rhino Warrior, for example. So if we were playing like one of those adventure P.U.N.K builds or whatever, we can use Fiendish Rhino Warrior here to then send any Fiend monster from our deck to the graveyard, which means we can send Barrier Statue of the Abyss. And then all we have to do is make Verte, which is not hard at all. And then boom, we can then summon the Barrier Statue. And if we're doing P.U.N.K build with this specifically, we can easily go into Bardiche, and then Bardiche can grab us like a Fog Blade or two, depending on how it goes, right? So, yeah, you can't run over the Barrier Statue by battle, so you better be playing a Dark deck in this case, because if you're not going to be able to play. That is as simple as that, right? And that's just one of many, many ways. In fact, if we wanted to look at like what we could do with Snake Eye, it wouldn't be like that hard. Your Snake Eye specifically only requires you to summon specifically a fire monster or add a fire monster. It doesn't even say pyro. That's an easy way into Curious right there. But do we even have to do Curious? No. No, we do not. Because, of course, there is a Pyro Barrier Statue. Needless to say, Pyro Barrier Statue. I wonder what we could possibly do with that. Could be anything. There's just so many cards here. But, yeah. If we really want to, we could easily do Curious or Beatrice to summon or send Fossil Dyna. Well, I guess it's a bit of both. So what we could do here is we could go like Beatrice and also make like a Verte without using the Beatrice. And of course you could slap like monster negates and like actual interaction on top of all the things I'm talking about. So you have to keep that in mind. But what we can do here is with Beatrice, we can essentially summon one of any main deck monster in the game to our opponent's side of the field, and our side of the field with Beatrice, we just send once on our turn, send once on our opponent's turn. So for example, I can do send Fossil Dyna, and then we can send, I don't know, what's a decent card? Let's say Thunder King Ryo. That's what we'll go with. Why not? So our opponent's also under Colossus, and we can potentially solemn them, kinda. But this isn't relevant because of Fossil Dyna. So we Ryo our opponent, so they're essentially under Colossus effect, and also they cannot special summon because we made Beatrice and also made our Link to Verte. Yeah, that's pretty doable. Because why not, I guess. And while we're on the topic of Beatrice, we could do a lot of things with Beatrice. We could even do some milling with Beatrice, and with Beatrice, we can guaranteed be able to shuffle back our stuff, so we could also like shuffle back like our copy of like Branded Fusion and Fallen of Albaz if we need to discard it or something. But the most important one to shuffle back, I guess, would be Branded Fusion, and then we can just simply send like a Mudora from our deck to do so, like guaranteed. Because we don't even need both of these targets. We only realistically need one of these targets to do like good damage to our opponent. But I mean, the fact that you can just Thunder King your opponent and just hit them with the Fossil Dyna, that's pretty disgusting. And there's really not much you can do about this. I guess you can open Called by the Grave, unless your opponent made a spell trap negate, but just talking about this Beatrice combo, you gotta know this is just undoubtedly a super easy to do one card combo. Like, you have this one Garnet, sure, but doing that Beatrice combo, unironically, one card combo. You just have to go out of your way to find it, because summoning Beatrice and then summoning like a Verte as well is not a difficult combo to do by any means. Like, if we have, well, I don't know the exact card we would start with to like be able to make a Beatrice, but even if not one card, even if you have a 2-card combo for this, the 2-card would probably be a little bit stronger than this, but it's still pretty degenerate overall, right? And you're not really going to be able to get rid of a Fossil Dyna I gave you, nor are you going to be able to run over our Thunder King Ryo here, so just in general, that this is pretty degenerate, pretty annoying, pretty garbage, pretty stupid. A lot of things can be said about this, really. And just for example, this is actually a pretty legit deck, though. Just because why wouldn't it be? I guess. So we can do a lot of things with this. So notably here, you can't run over this by battle. Fossil Dyna, you would not be able to run over by battle because it's on your field and you can't link it off. And it's in defense position because for some reason, Albion summons specifically on your opponent's turn, which allows you to summon a guy in defense on your opponent's field and they can't change it to attack and crash. And if you did manage to get rid of it somehow, it's not very hard for Albion to give you that same monster back the following turn. Well, your following turn. Like on your following turn, right? So that's a thing. Real quick, let's take a look at this. Are these guys all Winged Beast? No. Beast Warrior, Winged Beast, Winged Beast, Beast Warrior. Well, isn't that great? So you're telling me, yeah, we're very able to make Curious here, I'm pretty sure. It would not be hard at all. Because of how many bodies we can spam out. Yeah. So, if we just put a few bodies onto the field with this, I can definitely see us making Curious with some Snake Eye cards. Like, it's not even a question. It's definitely doable. So Flamberge is a dragon for some reason, and then we have the Snake Eye cards, which are Pyro, and then we have the Winged Beast Fire King cards. So we could easily make Curious, and then all we don't even need to keep Curious on the field anymore, is just one other monster, and then we can just summon Curious, and then we can give our opponent whatever monster we goddamn please. So in this case, we could give our opponent the Fire Bearer statue, because why not? And then they're locked into fires. Well, that's epic, isn't it? And then there's going to be a fire lock going on, and then not much is going to be able to be, well, done by our opponent here. So yeah, that's how that'll go, I guess. So this kind of tech playable in Snake Eye Fire King. It's probably playable in like Yubel as well, because why not? I guess, right? The only thing that would matter is if you're specifically locked by something, because this is just so generic. You could just splash this into like whatever deck, and just slap like a Jowgen onto your end board, right? And if you could bounce something, you can bounce back hand traps and stuff. Is this even legal? Yeah, Branded doesn't even need this card in the slightest. This card is just a mistake. Like, the design on this is just pretty bad, right? But I mean, while we're here, let's talk about a ruling thing, to kind of, I guess, I don't know. Well, if we have World Sea Dragons Atlantis, you will notice that the effect here says You can banish all monsters on the field, then special summon as many monsters as possible that were banished by this effect to their owner's fields, face up or in face down defense position. So a lot of cards are like kind of weird in a sense where they will be able to remove a card and then summon a card back. All of those cards summon to the owner's fields, I believe. For some reason. I don't know exactly why, but with effects that are essentially like kind of like Snatch Steal type effects or a Change of Heart. So if we take, for example, with Change of Heart, let's say our opponent normal summons Effect Valor, it doesn't really matter. We Change of Heart on this Effect Valor, and then we activate the effect of SP, specifically the banish two face-up monsters on the field. If we banish like the effect valor we took alongside SP, when they return to the field, we don't have the option of using the return first. We have to use SP before, so even if we change of hearted the effect valor, our opponent gets this effect valor back. So it's kind of hard to keep things that you steal off of like a snatch steal type effect, right? So like change of heart and stuff, kind of hard. If we were to Z Atlantis, our opponent just gets their card back. So I think that's kind of neat, I guess, that this kind of thing exists on these newer cards. I don't even know if it was completely intentional or not. I feel like Z Atlantis, it was intentional, but yeah. Honestly, banning Ito is cool and all, but like straight up just ban Albion, save us all the trouble. Like, I mean, we already banned Expulsion, right? Like, Expulsion was like just, what are you gonna do about it, right? Albion, same deal. And just for example, it would not be hard for me to come up with a combo where I just summon like Scythe if I really want to. Because Degda also exists, you know, just you guys remember Degda? Degda, set Scythe in the back row, pop Scythe, and then, you know, lock our opponent's extra deck down. We can still do this, you know, just saying. Just no one's doing it, but yeah. But like what Albion's doing is like considerably worse because we just have to make Verte. In this case, like the minimum we would need to do with like Degda is make Verte and Degda, which, you know, a little bit harder. A little bit. Not by that much, but you know, it's just alright, I guess. Yeah, guess all of this is in the game. So yeah, that's all I got for you guys today. And I'll see you guys in the next video. But yeah, you can essentially side block your opponent every single turn with Albion, so thanks, Konami, I guess. So yeah, that's all I got for you guys today, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.